Donald Trump once again found himself retreating and canceling public plans amid intense backlash. Critics argue that his unpopularity isn't just domestic, it's global. They point to moments on the international stage, including reactions at events like the Olympics, where he has faced boos, protests, and open mockery from segments of the crowd. The latest viral incident only amplified that perception, fueling online ridicule and raising questions about why certain appearances were suddenly called off. For many observers, the response to Trump at major global events, contrasted with celebrations of Team USA's athletic success, reflects a broader political divide and serves as a microcosm of the current administration's standing abroad. Supporters and critics alike debate the reasons behind this backlash. Some attribute it to his policy decisions and confrontational leadership style, while others point to concerns about his public behavior and communication. Before diving into the specifics of the Olympic controversy and the canceled plans, it's important to examine the underlying factors that have shaped his international reputation. Why alien Trump's erratic ego has world on edge. Psychologist Donald Trump's lack of judgment as he ages is jeopardizing global peace efforts. One psychologist says Dr. John Gardner, a former Johns Hopkins professor who said months ago that Trump was showing clinical signs of dementia, told the Daily Beast podcast that the 79-year-old commander-in-chief's lack of impulse control doesn't bode well for the increasingly tenuous world order. It is such a terrible combination because we have a constitutional crisis of sorts, right? Where a president has really disregarded all of the checks and balances, Gartner told host Joanna Coles, but we have someone with a brain disorder, okay? A deteriorating brain disorder, so they have no internal controls or judgment. Donald Trump's ID is now sort of in control of the world because he has no frontal lobes. Gartner claimed he has no advisors. We have no constitution. We have no checks and balances except for the recent Supreme Court ruling. It's like everything just radiates from his ID, and there's not a single thing to sort of stop an impulse in his disturbed brain from becoming a war. Gartner pointed to some of Trump's comments at the first gathering of the Board of Peace. I'm rolling my eyes on Thursday as another sign of his proclivity to make momentous decisions like about military action against Iran in an arbitrary, confused, and paranoid way. Trump told those gathered what may happen next after the U.S. struck Iran's nuclear facilities last month. So now we may have to take it a step further. Maybe not. Maybe we're going to make a deal. You're going to be finding out over the next probably 10 days. So, in other words, Gardner said, we might go to war. We might not. We'll let you know. We're not even telling you on what basis we're going to war, or when we'll go to war, or what criteria would make us not go to war. You'll find out. If we can't make a deal and we feel like it's wrong, we're going to bomb. Trump, according to an Axios report published earlier this week, wasn't seeing enough progress with negotiations and was ready to begin military action soon. The boss is getting fired up. Some people around him warn him against going to war with Iran, but I think there is a 90% chance we see kinetic action in the next few weeks. One presidential advisor told the publication as U.S. military ships and aircrafts have moved closer to the country. When reached for comment, the White House criticized Gartner while touting Trump's health. Critics argue that growing international concern around Donald Trump isn't just about policy disagreements. It's also about questions surrounding his public behavior, perceived cognitive decline, and overall fitness for leadership. But beyond personal criticisms, many point to what they see as broader issues, a pattern of disregard for constitutional norms, international alliances, and long-standing global standards. Trump has at times framed his leadership style as being guided by his own sense of morality, which opponents say adds to global unease. Supporters may see that as strength, but critics view it as unpredictability. That tension has played out on the world stage, including moments at high-profile events like the Olympics, where political figures such as J.D. Vance have faced visible backlash from sections of the crowd. There's also frustration among some over taxpayer-funded travel and appearances by officials like Kash Patel at international events, particularly during moments meant to celebrate Team USA's achievements. For critics, it creates a disconnect. National pride in athletes' success contrasted with dissatisfaction toward the administration's messaging and conduct. Donald Trump, after Team USA won gold, posted this photo of an eagle seemingly drowning a Canada goose in response to Justin Trudeau when the USA played Canada in a little hockey match, saying, "You can't take our country and you can't take our game." Critics argue that this situation feels unnecessarily divisive, especially when it comes to relations with close allies like Canada, a country long considered one of the United States' strongest partners. They say that attempts to mock or economically pressure Canada have not only strained that relationship, but in some cases produced unintended consequences at home. That tension makes it harder for some people to fully celebrate moments of national pride, like a major victory for Team USA. Several athletes have previously expressed political views critical of Donald Trump, which adds another layer to the dynamic. Given that backdrop, it's perhaps not surprising that questions arose about whether his presence at the Olympics would be welcomed, and ultimately factored into decisions about his attendance. Donald Trump will reportedly skip Winter Olympic closing ceremony. At the opening ceremony for the Winter Olympics in Milan, Vice President J.D. Vance attended it alongside his wife, Jake Paul. There have been rumors that the president would attend the closing ceremony on Sunday, but those rumors appear to be wrong, or at least Donald Trump is just canceled. The White House has set the president's schedule on Sunday, which includes him being in meetings at 8 a.m. and 12 p.m., making it impossible for him to attend the Winter Olympics closing ceremony after it floated that he would. Per the report, Donald Trump expressed interest in flying out to Italy for the USA-Canada showdown in the men's ice hockey gold medal game tomorrow. Security planning and Air Force One travel, though, was reportedly in place in such an event. The Mirror noted that the change in plans might have been in response to ongoing foreign policy disputes, but I think we have a better idea why. There have been protests all over Italy about ICE and their presence, along with USA athletes speaking out. But I think one good example of the protest that Donald Trump has been facing down is the fact that ICE protests at Olympic City grow with Team USA renaming its formerly named Ice House. So Donald Trump ended up bowing out of the big closing ceremony. And you can almost imagine the internal calculation. Would the global audience boo him? Would it turn into an international spectacle? With hundreds of millions watching, the risk of public embarrassment may have simply been too high. This is, after all, someone who has avoided other major public events amid concerns about how crowds or even performers might respond. For critics, the Olympics became another symbol of Trump's strained global image. And yet, at the same time, the Games have also delivered genuinely uplifting moments. Team USA has had remarkable victories, and many athletes have captured attention not just for their talent, but for their personalities and stories. Events like curling have drawn in new fans, and every 4 years, the Olympics introduce audiences to athletes who are easy to root for. One standout story has been figure skater Elisa Liu, known for her distinctive style and Bay Area roots. After stepping away from the sport at a young age, she made a remarkable comeback and captured gold, becoming one of the most compelling stories of the Games. Open about her progressive views and outspoken on political issues, she represents a new generation of athletes unafraid to share their perspectives. But as her profile has grown, so too has political commentary surrounding her, particularly from conservative voices who have weighed in on her activism. So after Alyssa Liu won her gold medal, Republicans said congratulations to Alyssa Liu, Olympic champion. It's interesting to see some conservatives suddenly celebrating Alyssa Liu's Olympic victory and framing it as proof of the American dream. Commentators like Jack Posobiec highlighted her father's story, fleeing political persecution in China and building a life in the United States, as an example of American opportunity. And yes, that story is powerful. It reflects what this country can represent at its best. But critics point out the contradiction. Alyssa Liu is a first-generation American, the daughter of a Chinese immigrant, and an outspoken progressive who has advocated for LGBTQ+ rights and spoken out on issues like Palestinian human rights. The same political movement now praising her has also supported stricter immigration policies and criticized activists with views similar to hers. The concern isn't about celebrating her achievement. Everyone should. It's about selectively claiming her success while backing policies that could make similar stories harder in the future. Her victory belongs to her, not to any political party. At the end of the day, her gold medal is a testament to opportunity, talent, and perseverance. The broader political debate is about what kind of country continues to create space for stories like hers to happen again. Thanks for watching, and if you stuck around at the end, you can drop the blue heart in the comments, and until next time, I will see you soon.